We're back with some more local stories and some updates here tonight. There are emerging details on the case involving former National Signals Bureau boss, that's the NSB boss, who is facing charges including stealing and money laundering with his wife and other accomplices. Would want to furnish you with all the details tonight. My colleague Emmanuel Ejabin is joining us. He is with our research desk. He joins us with all the details. Emmanuel, good evening.
Good evening, Kweku. Well, on that score, on the letter dated 6th May 2025, addressed to the National Security Coordinator, lawyers for Kwabena Boahene highlighting national security implications of arraigning their clients. Well, they say the intended prosecution violates a number of acts, the Intelligence Agency Act 2020, Act 1030, and the National Signals Bureau Act 1040. Let me share with you more details of that particular letter cited by GH1 News. And it says, as you are no doubt aware, the Attorney General has arraigned our client, a former Director General of the National Signals Bureau, on various criminal charges. Our client has instructed us that a careful look at the case from the documents you inherited underscores the fact that the pit of the Honorable Attorney General's case are matters bordering on national security. Besides, the intended prosecution violates the Security and Intelligence Agency Act 2020, Act 1030, and the National Signals Bureau Act 2020, Act 1040. We attach a memorandum under the hand of our clients, who is at the moment incarcerated as the Economic and Organized Crime Officer, Yoko Cells. May we count on your usual sense of professionalism in your evaluation and the proffering of the critical understanding of the matters therein contained. So this is the letter that was written by lawyers for Kwabena Boahene on his behalf, attaching a particular memo where we get into the details of that memo, which was written by himself, Mr. Kwabena Boahene himself, to the National Security Coordinator boss.
2025 confidential memo to the National Security Coordinator cited by GH1 News, the embattled former Director General of the National Signals Bureau, Kwabena Boahene, writes, quote, "Your kind attention is drawn to certain developments that have arisen following our unsuccessful attempts to meet due to scheduling conflict with your good office. You will recall that subsequent to my arrest and detention in Yoko Cells, the Attorney General of the Republic has been very vocal in a number of press briefings where he brands my wife and I as criminals and alludes to transactions between a certain national BNC account and private BNC account purportedly owned by us," unquote. In a memo copied to the National Security Advisor and the current Director General of the National Signals Bureau, Mr. Boahene further states, quote, "I cannot tell where the AG gets his theories from, but as your good office will have learned by now, the matter relates to transactions between your Special Services account, that's the Special Operations account, Coordinated account, and SPV account, and that is BNC Communications Bureau, duly authorized and created for the national security exigencies of the time, and for which my wife, duly vetted, and the UMB were instrumental in facilitating. It is bizarre that the Attorney General attempts to link unrelated transfers, withdrawals, and refunds for special operations with assets we do not own and a few we own, which mostly predate the 2020 transactions he raised. A cursory look on the part of anyone will reveal these facts. I am also disturbed to note that the services of bloggers and social media influencers have been employed to post and run commentary on these lies to amplify the matter and bring prominence to this malicious agenda against not just our persons, but the national security as well. As this ridiculous drama unfolds, some 49 million Ghana cedis of special operations funds have now become the subject of court action, where my wife and I, as well as other affiliates, are being accused with charges including stealing and causing financial loss to the state. I have tried to withhold classified information from my interrogators, but I deem it prudent to inform your good office that, in light of the current development, we run the risk of public disclosure of the following national security and intelligence operations expenditure items, unquote. We will bring in details of that expenditure shortly. The letter continues, quote, "I give you my highest assurances that Angela and I will never steal public funds, as has been deliberately and wickedly portrayed by the Attorney General. In any case, How does one seal public funds in the manner being described by the Attorney General without being flagged by the Auditor General? Further, I give you my highest assurances that Angela and I will never take what does not belong to us, even if privately arranged. We are full of content with the modest blessings God has given us. What is evidently clear is that the Yoko boss, Raymond Acha, is deliberately misrepresenting or distorting the facts to the authorities and in the process causing unnecessary sensation that will embarrass the government and national security. And I'm craving your urgent intervention to avert it before it becomes too late. My best regards from Yoko Cells. Unquote.
Also, just gone by is the memo from Kwabena Boahene highlighting a number of items. Now, point 6 of that particular memo speaks about special operations expenditure. We have the breakdown for you. It talks about 10 different expenditure line items and makes up about 49 million Ghana cedis. The first of it is about some 9.5 million Ghana cedis spent in the year 2020 in respect of some 5 special operations. Operation the SCN1, SCN2, Scorpion, and Hive. As well, the second one looks at Operation Conquered Fist, which was spent between 2020 and 2024, which was some 6.9 million. It was in respect of counter-terrorism, and it was for the stability of the nation. The third one was Operation Calm Life, which is anti-kidnapping and violent crimes, some 3.7 million. The next one was in respect, the next one, that's the fourth and the fifth expenditure line item, was in respect of some allowances paid to members of parliament for considering the enactment of certain acts for the NSB. So it's in about close to 1 million, actually 1.2 million Ghana, in excess of it, 1.2 million Ghana cedis that were paid between 2020 to 2024. The first one of 960,000 paid to members of the Defense and Interior Committee was in respect of the enactment of the NSB Act 2020, 960,000. The next one was paid in 2024, some 300,000 in respect of monies paid to the Special Legislative Committee of Parliament. Now, the next 5, the 6th and the 7th and the 8th all had to do with election special ops. Now, if you look at the entire amount, it's some in excess of some 21 million Ghana cedis. The first one in December 2020 was spent to ensure there is stability in the nation. 2024 as well, 6.7 million spent in respect of stability as well in the nation for December 2024. On the 8th one, which is for election special ops, it was in support for national communication equipment for the collation of results by an opposition party, and the detail of who received that particular amount is classified. So we spent 8.3 million Ghana cedis in September 2024 for that particular equipment, but whoever received that amount is classified. The 9th one has to do with election special ops logistics. We bought 3 vehicles, 2 Nissan Patrols and 1 Toyota V8 Land Cruiser GXR, and it was in excess of 5 million Ghana cedis were received in December 2024 by the Special Aid to the President-elect. 5.1 million Ghana cedis in December 2024. As well, in 2024, 520,000 spent on generators, all in respect of human security ops, all geared towards stability of the nation. So that is the entire breakdown of some 49 million Ghana cedis stemming from that particular account. Quickly.
Yeah. All right, Emmanuel, thank you very much for the breakdown in there. I guess with all this information, it's now time for us to engage the lawyers. And Wayo Ganamanti is a lawyer and joins us to explore concerns of national security implications raised by Mr. Boahene's lawyers. Let me emphasize his name, Ganamanti. He stands for Ghana. So tonight he shares all the details with us on this particular case. Well, grateful lawyer for your time. Let me find out from you. So lawyers for Kwabena Boahene, you inclusive, highlights national security implications of arraigning their clients. Obviously with the breakdown and some of the classified information that we've just heard from my colleague, it tells you more. Now they say the intended prosecution violates the Intelligence Agencies Act 2020, Act 1030 and the National Signals Bureau's Act 1040. Share with us any merits in here.
Thank you very much, my good brother. Oh, my brother, it is very good to see you once again. It's been ages. It's been ages.
Absolutely,
I'm so happy to see you back on the airwaves in Ghana. Good. Thank you very much. I think from what is being exposed as a lawyer, and where I'm looking at the letter from Mr. Dubois himself, as well as the letter from his lawyers, and quoting these laws, I can say that the lawyers of Mr. Dubois are not doing him any good. In fact, the duty of a lawyer is to be diligent and get your client out of trouble, especially if it's a criminal prosecution. We're taught that the first thing you must think of is how to get your client out of danger, especially when it's criminal offense, because it is about going to jail or getting the freedom. And I will say that the letter from Mr. Dubois himself, as you have given to the public, now incriminates him. That letter of 5th May 2025, he is now admitting that Attorney General is making certain assertions, and those assertions are in respect of some transfers, withdrawals, or special operation accounts linked to assets he doesn't know, and some few assets that he is aware of. That area alone raises the issue of prima facie. So you see how Mr. Dubois himself has incriminated himself. Because now you have told the Attorney General that, well, the withdrawals, the transfers are all linked to assets I have no idea, and some few that I have idea in respect of. That grants the Attorney General's prosecution. Now, going to the laws that the lawyers have quoted, if you look at the Security and Intelligence Agencies Act 2020, Act 1030, Section 42, 43, 44 is clear on how do we disclose information as somebody who has once worked with an intelligence agency. Mr. Dubois was a Director General. The law is very clear. The law that his lawyers have quoted are very clear that he cannot disclose information that came to him when he was in office. And even if he has to disclose information, 43 says that it is the agency that will give him the permission after the minister has given the permission. So he went with Signal Bureau. It is the current director of the Signal Bureau who must seek permission from the minister. And in this law, if you say the Minister for National Security, who permits the Director General now that go ahead and give the Dubois permission to release information. And I don't think the director of the Signal Bureau today has given, I don't think the Ministry of National Security has given the director of Signal Bureau any permission.
So with all this explanation, Ganamanti, is there any provision of continuing this case while mitigating the possible national security implication?
It is perfect. Like I said earlier, it is clear that Mr. Dubois in his letter of 5th May has already implicated himself. If you say you don't know where the Attorney General gets his information from, you don't know where the drama is coming from, and then go ahead to admit that Attorney General's assertion of some withdrawals, some monies linked to some assets you don't know, and some few assets you know, that portion alone gives Attorney General prima facie case that come and answer. He goes ahead to say his wife was vetted and UMB was given a green light. That is conflict of interest. Article 286 says be very careful when you are in public service of conduct that will not conflict your personal interest and your duty. The moment his wife comes in, that alone breaches Article 286 of the Constitution on the Code of Conduct of Public Officers. So what it is that his lawyers have now, in fact, given up because that letter of 5th May has grounded Attorney General's prosecution. Granted that Attorney General will even forget about the transfers and the rest. You are now admitting that there are some assets that is linked to a certain withdrawal or some of the monies. That alone will now give the Attorney General the mandate to bring you to court to come and answer those things. Your wife was in there. You say your wife was vetted. Your wife is your wife. Conflict of interest. You come and answer. So now he has opened the Pandora's box for Attorney General's prosecution to be grounded.
Lawyer Ganamanti, I thank you so much.